Nick, hello.
Good afternoon, Max.
What a lovely day at Fruit Focus we have here.
Certainly is.
So I've just grabbed you from the Berry Gardens tent. Can you just tell everyone a little bit of background on yourself, please?
Yeah, by all means. I'm Nick Marston. I was the Chief Executive of Berry Gardens for 22 years, from 1995 until 2 years ago. When I stood down, having done the role for a long time, I thought I'd let someone else play with the train set. We grew the business from 19 million to 360 in that period.
Say that again. 19 million
to 360.
Okay, you're not an egotistical sort of individual, but sometimes you've got to tell people you've done a fantastic job. You've done a fantastic job to get that scale of growth.
Well, I think a former boss of mine in food manufacturing said, Nick, it's better to be lucky than clever. So it might have been a combination of the two. The berry industry is a great place to be.
Okay, and then when I picked up with you 2 odd years ago, and you were just stepping down from the role, you jokingly said, I'm off to my caravan now, but you're not. You're here. What are you doing here today?
Well, 2 years ago I took over from Lawrence Owens as chairman of British Summer Fruits, which is the industry representational body.
Okay.
Runs a very successful PR campaign promoting the qualities of British and year-round fresh berries.
Yep.
And it's hugely successful. Again, we've grown the category massively.
But again, I think you've been so modest about that. Just tell everyone how the inception of that campaign and where it is today.
2003, the market was worth £380 million at retail, according to Kantar. This year, 52 weeks rolling, it's worth 1.43 billion.
Wow.
And it's by far and away the biggest fresh produce category.
Okay, but surely the summer fruit campaign, you created that magic dust, but all of you contribute, a bit of rivals contributing into a marketing pot to then go out to the market. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. And as individual organisations, it's not expensive. It really is low cost. But you get a huge amount of bang for your buck if you do things on a cross-industry basis. It also means we can represent the industry. So we can cope with issues management, and we can cope with lobbying and talking to government alongside the NFU. So we don't just publicise berries. So the Love Fresh Berries campaign is a year-round campaign that drives consumption year-round.
But why have other fresh produce sectors not learned from your success and created similar campaigns years ago?
Well, I think they have to some extent. And if you look at the Veg Power campaign now, and yes, peas, there are sectors that have done a great deal. But I think the berry industry was probably unique in really going for it early in the piece and staying with it. Great British Apples is another very successful campaign. So we're not unique, but we were one of the first sectors to do it, and we've been doing it consistently ever since.
Okay, and with where the total sales are today, where's this all going? Because it just seems to be never ending, this escalation of growth.
Well, that 52 weeks rolling sale of 1.43 billion, that is still showing 10% growth year on year. Strawberries, which are a relatively mature product, you would think, and are available year round in good quantities at reasonable prices, are still growing by 9%. So, whereas fruit in total is growing by 2.5%. So, who knows? The sky's the limit.
Okay, and here's a bit of a confrontational question: is anyone making any money? Because the gripe that we get from our clients constantly is that the single-digit margin returns they're getting from the retailers. What's the current situation? What's the solution?
I wish I knew what the magic solution was, and we talked about it a little earlier in my presentation, because if you look at retails, if you look at returns to growers, they're static, and we know all the pressures on the retail market. If you look at growers' costs, they're inflating every year substantially. So I think at some stage something has to give. Berry growers have been very innovative. They've switched production techniques, they've brought in polytunnels, tabletops, higher yielding varieties, but one does have to question how long we can carry on pulling the rabbit out of that hat.
Okay, so when we're stood here in 5 years' time, what will this market look like?
I think it will have continued to grow. I think that we will actually still be making a return on investment. At the end of the day, farmers have to make a return on their investment, or they wouldn't do it. They're not doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. I think we will be employing further new technologies, but I think that potentially prices will have gone up a bit as well. The whole food market at some stage has to give a little bit, I suspect. If you look at ambient groceries, they have inflated by 10% as a result of weaker sterling. So it can be done, and it can happen. And I think fresh produce is a bit of a standard bearer in retail. Understand all the reluctance to see fresh produce price inflation, but I think at some stage we may start to see it.
Okay, Nick, thank you very much. We're not going to lose you to your caravan, so thank you very much for coming here. Thank you very much for the success that you've created. Favourite fresh produce?
Favourite fresh produce? It has to be strawberries.
Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you.